Hello, dear 8th grade students, and we are pleased to welcome you back in our virtual classroom at an English lesson. This is Olga.
And this is Anastasia.
So let's start our lesson, and today we are going to speak about the relative clauses, relative pronouns, and practice the usage of the relative pronouns and adverbs in context.
So, let's see, what is a relative clause? Okay, a relative clause gives us information about the person or thing mentioned.
Please remember, there are two types of relative clauses. The first type, the defining relative clause, presents us the essential, important information about the thing, person, or situation mentioned. Let's see the example. This is the video that I wanted to show you. You're perfectly right. The second part of the sentence, introduced by the relative pronoun that, presents us really important information to the general meaning of the sentence. You have to remember that if you want to introduce a person as a subject, you have to use the relative clauses who, relative pronouns who or that. If you want to introduce a person as an object, you have to apply the relative pronoun that. If you want to introduce a thing as a subject of the sentence, please use the relative pronouns which or that. If you introduce a thing as an object, you should use the relative pronoun that. Let's analyze the following examples. She is the woman who cuts my hair. Right, we are using the relative pronoun who because we are speaking and introducing a woman, which is a person. The next sentence, there was a 1-year guarantee which came with the TV. Why do we use here the relative pronoun which? Right, because we introduce some details about the 1-year guarantee, which is a thing. Now please be really attentive and remember the following rule. If the relative pronoun is followed by a noun or a personal pronoun, then we can omit the relative pronoun. Look at the example. He is the man that I met at the conference. The relative pronoun that is preceded, followed by the personal pronoun I. It means that we can omit the relative pronoun that. So, the following sentence could have sounded this way. He is the man I met at the conference.
The second type of relative clauses is the non-defining one, which gives us extra additional information about a person or thing mentioned. So, let's see the example. My grandfather, who is 87, goes swimming every day. We have used here relative pronoun who, and we have extra information, 87, the age. Okay, so let's see. What relative pronouns can we use in such clauses? So, if you want to present a person, you can use who both as a subject and as an object, and whom as an object. But don't forget and remember, you don't use a relative pronoun that. So if you want to present a thing, you can use who both as a subject and as an object as well. So let's see in the examples. The house, which was built in 1883, has just been opened to the public. We have used the relative pronoun which that refers to the house.
There are some other pronouns that you can use instead of who, which, and that. So, if you want to introduce a time, you should use the relative adverb when. Summer is the season when I am the happiest. We use the relative adverb when because we are introducing the season and showing the time.
Okay, so in case if you need to introduce the place, we use the adverb where. So let's see the example. City Park, where we used to go, has been closed down. In this case, we have used a relative pronoun where and the places city park.
For situations when you want to speak about possession or belonging, you should use the relative adverb whose. He is a musician whose albums have sold millions. We are showing the possession of the musician.
So, now let's see what you have understood. So, practice time for you. Your task is to insert an appropriate relative pronoun in the following sentences. The doctor examined the child was very gentle. How do you think? What relative pronoun can be used here? Pause and write. Ready? Okay, let's see the answer. The doctor that examined the child was very gentle. Do you have the same answer? Great.
Sentence number 2. I live in Canada is a densely populated country. What relative pronouns can you use in this case? Which one is appropriate? Please take your pen or pencil and write down the correct relative pronoun. Pause and write. Done? Let's check. If you have written the sentence, I live in Canada, which is a densely populated country, then you are absolutely right.
Okay, let's see the next one. Lee teaches a class of students. Native language is not English. How do you think? What relative pronoun can be used here? Pause and write. Ready? Let's check. Lee teaches a class of students whose native language is not English. Are you sure that you have the same answer? Yes, great job.
Let's proceed to one more example. They went to a concert at the new arena was built last year. What relative pronoun can we insert in this case? Please think, pause and write. Have you written? Let's check. They went to a concert to a new arena which was built last year. Wonderful!
Great, let's continue. That's the drawer I keep my jewelry. So, let's see what relative pronouns have you used here. Let's see the answer. That's the drawer where I keep my jewelry. So, we have the pronoun where. We speak about the place.
We have practiced together, and now we think that it's time for you to show how well you have understood the usage of the relative pronouns and adverbs in relative defining and non-defining clauses. The next task, I'm going to read sentences. Your task is to pause and insert the appropriate relative pronoun or adverb, and then we'll check together with you. So, sentence number 1. I sometimes go and study in my local park. I can get some fresh air. Please take your pen and insert the appropriate relative pronoun. Sentence number 2. What's the name of the man lives next door? What relative pronoun is appropriate in this situation? Sentence number 3. What's the name of the river goes through the town? Please mark down the correct relative pronoun. Sentence number 4. July is the time we go to the seaside. A wonderful sentence. Please insert the correct relative pronoun. And sentence number 5. My birthday was my 15th, turned out to be a wonderful day. Please pause and write down the sentences in your book, in your copybook, by marking the correct relative pronouns.
Ready? Let's check. What have you done? Let's read the sentences. Number 1. I sometimes go and study in my local park where I can get some fresh air. We have used where. Number 2. What's the name of the man who lives next door? Do you have who? Great. Sentence number 3. What's the name of the river which goes through the town? Sentence number 4. July is the time when we go to the seaside. Sentence number 5. My birthday, which was my 15th, turned out to be a wonderful day.
You are great students, And now we are sure that you can independently use the relative pronouns and adverbs in your daily speech.
We thank you for being with us, working hard, and getting some important information that can be useful for you.
Goodbye, and see you next time in our virtual classroom at a new English lesson.